today I had to work. Uh, but sorry for being late. I was in the bathroom.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry. You had a you are you working besides school or you're working on your school projects?
In school projects.
Okay. How do you like them?
But
Are they interesting or what?
nah. It's like we are doing a digital magazine, and I have to present, doing a presentation show. Uh, how going, how it's going to be structured, like which kind of content I'm going to add, or which kind of people we are going to. I forgot how to say entrevista.
Interview?
Interview, yes. Um, we can't use images that are not ours for the copyright. Then found an artificial intelligence could make me some pieces of art in some kind of art, and I really like them. And I think that's a really good tool for this.
Oh, sounds really, really interesting. How would you structure something like a digital magazine? That sounds incredibly interesting, but it requires to be very creative and I guess also very organized, right? Because I don't think you have the whole space of the world. You have limited space, you have limited time to do your project, and well, limited resources too, right? Because there is a wide bandwidth that needs to be not used, right? No, you cannot use everything. So, how do you plan to do that, Mitch? If you want to share that with us, hopefully it's not something like not confidential, but something that you can share. Can you share the generalities?
I'm actually doing this barely. It's not a lot that I to share actually. Uh, okay. This magazine, it is about where we are supposedly okay. We're supposedly are like an enterprise who are how can I say this? We make some editions, but this time we are uh, specifically specifically doing about the Asiatic countries. In this case, the most which the most impact, who has more, which are which has more impact in all the world. Uh, in this case, for example, is China, Japan, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Korea, India, and Singapore. And sorry, teacher, I don't know why I'm so nervous.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry. It looks interesting. Let me tell you that it looks really, really interesting. It's a digital magazine. Uh, looks really, really interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
and actually, this presentation were for today, but unfortunately, well, fortunately, the time wasn't enough. Then the teacher told us that could deliver it for tomorrow.
Okay.
Uh, we misunderstood some things, but I'm doing this. I don't know if my team going to connect later, but I don't want to do this too late in the night.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Let me welcome Mickey. Mickey, good afternoon. How are you today?
Hi, teacher. I'm good. Thank you very much. Sorry for the delay. I was with the I don't know how to say in English. Mm, I'm not
Coordinator,
sure.
the direct,
Blacksmith
a
with
blacksmith. Yeah, a
the
blacksmith.
no
Yeah.
Herrero. Yeah,
Oh, well, yeah, that's the Iron Man. Well, but if you say
and
uh, Yeah, blacksmith. Yeah, I think I lost Mickey. Oh, he froze. You see him, Mitch? Oh no, no, there he is. There he is. Locksmith, locksmith. Yeah, you were with the locksmith, huh? Yes. Hello, Mickey. Can you hear
You listen
us?
to me, teacher?
Yeah. You look like frozen in the main screen, but you move in the secondary screen. Can you hear us, Mickey? It's like flickering, like moving a little and then stop, move and then stop. Can you hear us, Mickey? Can you hear me? Hello? You see him, Mitch?
And now I
Yes.
hear you, teacher. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can. Yes, I can hear you, Mickey. Can you hear Mickey, Mitch?
Yes.
Happening.
It might be my connection then because I'm losing him. It's like flickering. Okay, now it looks
Hi,
better.
teacher.
Hello, Mickey. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I don't know if it was my internet or what, but um, I was losing the signal. But I think that now I'm here
Yes.
again.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Mickey.
But
Mitch
I'm
was
good,
showing
teacher. And you?
us. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I was chatting with Mitch about a project that she's working on. It sounds really, looks really, really interesting. It is a digital magazine. Do you want to share that back again, Mitch? Because I have a couple of questions about that. Is that okay?
Mhm.
I know
Okay.
that is a school project that you still haven't delivered, but just the generalities. Have you ever worked on a school magazine, Mickey?
On a school magazine?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think so. hmm
Is it a lot of fun?
To be honest, I don't remember, but I imagine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, Mitch has 5, 6 slides, and I'd like to ask a few questions, Mitch, if you will. The first one is, what is the program that you're using to produce this magazine?
The prompt?
The software. What is the name of the software?
I named Canva. It is like PowerPoint, but it has some templates of you can use some designs of this. It's really practice. You can if you want another slice, just have a new white one, and you choose the format, the template. For example, like want to give some examples of my subject, I could use this.
Ah, okay.
Here put examples and here are my examples.
Okay, very nice. So it's very convenient then.
Mhm.
What is the audience, the target audience? Who are you going to send this to? Only students or teachers too, or parents of the kids?
Uh, this presentation specifically is just for the teacher only. My classmates supposedly can't see it because it is like each team has their magazine in secret, and for
Oh,
the final exam, we are going to show them all. And the one which it is better going to we're going to get promoters and publish them in a professional page.
wow, that is amazing. So there is a good reward for your performance. Well,
Could
good
be.
luck.
I think it comes for in some way for curriculum.
Yeah, it always helps because it also shows the kind of work that you can do. So it can be a promotion of your own work.
Yes.
Yes. Have you ever used a digital uh, magazine or publicity for you, Mickey, for your business?
Magazine? No, teacher, never. When I published a new pair, I just put on my stories on Instagram and on Facebook, and that's all. But obviously, I used like templates to show the sneakers. And
Oh,
I did use Canva too.
you have used it too.
Yeah, I have used
And
it.
you can do you like it?
Yeah, there are a lot of people who hate Canva because says that people who work on art digital and that stuff could lose their jobs doing that because Canva is so simple and it gives you a lot of tools and you can make a lot of different designs uh, without a great knowledge. So
Okay.
there are people who hate it, but for me, that I'm a student, it's great.
Okay, very good, Mickey. I'm gonna tell you something. I was listening to a fantastic interview with a businessman called Naval Ravikant. I don't know if you heard of him, and he appears with a bright interviewer, Joe Rogan, and it's called the Joe Rogan Experience. And I would like to ask you to please listen to it for 2 minutes, and those will be minutes 53.5, that is 53 or 20 seconds, up to 55, 30 seconds, 55 and a half. I'm going to send you the link. I believe this section summarizes the complete pitfalls or flaws of Western society. I absolutely love this interview, but these 2 minutes are worth thousands of hours. It gives you a summary of how society is these days. I'm sure you're gonna like it. I'm gonna send it through the WhatsApp and through the chat of the StreamYard. I would like to ask you please to listen to 2 minutes only, 53.5 or 50 minute 53 and 20 seconds to 52 and 55 and 30. I'll put that here. So I already sent it, and please listen to minutes 53:20 up to 55 beyond slide 30. And these are 2 minutes. And then we discuss it, see if you agree or you disagree, what you think. It's incredibly clear and appalling.
Okay.
Okay, please. So
Uh,
I'm
uh, at what time, teacher?
53:20, 53:20, minute 53 with 20 seconds up
Mhm.
to 55 with 30 seconds. So it's 2 minutes and 10 seconds, please.
Okay.
53:20 up to 55:30. Talks about the
I'm gonna,
modern problems of young kids.
okay.
Let's see what you
I'm
think.
gonna turn off my microphone, teacher.
Yes, 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 of course, of course.
Yeah, teacher, I finished listening to the
Okay.
video.
What? Okay. What's your opinion? What do you think about what he said? You finished, Mitch? Well,
Yes.
first of all, let me ask you, what is it that you understood from the video? What was your impression of what the man said, Ravikant?
Yeah,
Well,
or Mitch.
uh, ah,
Okay. Well, let's begin with
Mitch?
Mitch, and then you, Mickey, please.
okay. More essentially, I think. They are saying that okay, we as humans have a lot of freedom, have a lot of liberty for do whatever they want. But the internet show us a lot of, well, not just the internet. For example, the stimulated things that the people, if they are alone, they don't know which do with their lives. They don't know how stimulated to feel something good. They're going, they're trapped in the social media. They'll consume drugs, porn, all the stimulated things that, okay, I think all the controlled level, it is okay, but all in it says is bad. Well, I think drugs, for example, even even in the very low level is bad, but hmm, it he mentioned something that interesting that he said, for example, the ones of the generation Z, I think it was Z, could handle all this stuff better than the ones which are 30s plus 30s. Mm, it is true, at least in my circle, social circle, they control all that stuff very well. But I think it all depends in how the education of each family, of each person. Uh, if I give some piece of marijuana to someone who are not mentally okay, emotionally okay, and someone who are has something very good in their life, they have good relationship with their friends and their family. I think they're not going to react at the same. There is all differences. Um I think for all the information, we can handle this stuff better, but everything is going to depend of each person how to react of these things. That's great.
Yeah, that's an incredible analysis. I fully agree. There are many more details, of course, and we're gonna go through those, Mitch. But I appreciate your comment. Very thorough, very complete. Thank you, Mitch. Mickey, what do you think about what we saw, what you heard? Do you agree? You disagree? Can you make a summary? What do you think of what Ravikanti says?
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. He mentioned that in actuality, it's supposed that we have more freedom because now we can be, well, in part, we can be more free in question of you can choose your religion. Now the things are not too uh, conserve, or how can I say conservative?
Conservative?
Conservative, yeah. But at the same time, uh, he mentioned that the biggest struggle is that we are lonely and that we are so focused on our cell phone, on social media, on news, and it affects us because there are a lot of things on internet that make us put our attention then there, and it provocates a big problem because we're alone and we have everything in our cell phone, and we have a lot of content and a lot of uh, yeah, of different content there, and that could cause a problem because at the end we're alone, but we put our attention in just our cell phone or just in Wi-Fi, you know.
Yeah,
Uh, and well, I think that it's a big problem because I think that now people uh, lose easily their attention because there are a lot of things to see and there are a lot of content to see that now probably a content that was broadcasting, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, now in the actuality is like something that is not important, and we start to consume more and more and more and more.
yeah, absolutely true. There is one thing that calls my attention dramatically, and that is exactly at the beginning. I don't know if you noticed what he said in exactly, let me see, exactly minute 20 53 and 20. Let me see if it is here. It talks about who does this. He says, let me, if you're well meaning, if you're a son of mine and body, it will drive you insane. Yes, yes. You're forced to watch the news, right? We are, and
Mhm.
we become addicted. And it says, these are addictive items, activities to their business. These are weaponized. That's the word. They are weaponized. He says that all these things are weaponized. In other words, they become a weapon that they use against you. He says sugar. They say drugs. They say, well, they mention porn, which is all these ugly things. They say sugar, drugs, porn, video games, but they don't talk about educational video games. They talk about um, violent video games, right? So
Yeah.
what he says is that they, the corporations use the brightest people to produce this. In other words, he's like a huge corporation of brains, which imagine the fight. And that's why he says the tribes of the past fought against lions. He doesn't say that in this moment. Tribes of the past, you were fighting, you were fighting against lions or bears to survive, right? And sometimes you survived, sometimes you didn't, right? It says,
Mhm.
but the modern fight, the modern struggle that you mentioned, Mickey, and that Mitch also talked very clearly about the implications, is that this is a group of brains, brilliant people who are working for corporations to produce and make you addictive to these things. So they weaponize, that's the word that he uses, weaponize. They weaponize sugar. They weaponize everything for people to become, for young men to, or young people to become addicted, I'm sorry. How can you defend yourself? I mean, if you are a young male, he uses the example of a young male who is obviously young, and they put all these programs that make you addictive to this or to that or to that. And he says that we cannot defend ourselves, that we are defenseless. And what do you think about that? Is it true that we cannot defend ourselves? Or what do you think, Mitch, Mickey?
Defend ourselves in which way?
Well, that you don't become addicted.
Oh,
Eh,
okay.
eh, yeah, you give a young man, or you give a person, a young kid, a candy,
Mhm.
and the next day you give him another candy, and the next time you give him another candy, he will become addicted to candies, and now he will need it. It will become a necessity, and he will need to consume it maybe for the rest of his life. Well, my mother started smoking when she was 13 or 14, and she quit smoking when she was 80. That means that she had worked for the cigarette companies for 60, what, 66 years
Mhm.
consuming cigarettes. And I'm saying this, and she admits that it was addictive. I have a cousin who is addicted to all kinds of things that I will not mention, and he's 56 and he still does it. I mean, he's addicted to that, and he admits, well, I'm addicted to this, and that person is addicted to this. And my cousin, for example, is addicted to video games, violent video games. So he plays at his 56 years old. He plays violent video games 6 hours a day, and he
Okay.
says, I cannot resist. So that's what I mean when I say, when he says that people cannot defend themselves when they are very young. How can you avoid that? Or do you agree? Or is there a way out?
Well, I could divide this part of the subject in some in some parts.
Yes, please, please, please
For
break it down.
example, in the way of the weaponized video games, I think it is all this stuff. It becomes in first time of the education that you are in the home. If you are an adult, if you know that you are doing bad, if you're interested in some change, you can continue educate yourself, sharing for information to change you. In this case of the video games, I think in some way this could be attached to some people to say that the violence video games becomes you violent. And well, we know for the statistics that that wasn't true. But if some person which are not good of his brain or her brain also, um, they could act in some way very very badly. I think this one also, I think in some way help to the population to normalize all the killings. I don't know, maybe.
Okay.
Mm, and also I want to touch the part of the, for example, that you mentioned the example of the kid and the candies, and I think this could apply in some, in every examples of this aspect, that we are going to the same thing. Everything becomes from the education that you have, even if you are an adult. How if, but if you are already addicted to something, uh, you can share for help, go for help to someone. Hey, I know that I'm wrong, but I'm addicted. How can I let it go? How can I change? Well, some people can help you, give you advices, give you some therapies or activities to change you. But well, I think as a conclusion, all depends of the how can I say, voluntad, voluntary,
Will, your
uh,
own will, personal will.
personal will of each person to change or become better as a
Yeah, well,
person.
I fully agree, Mitch. I fully agree. What you're saying is that the recipe when you are sick, right? When the recipe, if I get sick, is do this, go for help, talk to a friend, talk to your parents, talk to your brother, talk to your sister, talk to a good friend. And that is a fabulous advice. And I like it very much. The point of discussion here, well, that is a great contribution. But the thing is, who is building the virus, the bacteries? Is it an accident? No, it's not an accident. It's a corporate activity to make people addictive. In other words, is the corporations building a virus? Is corporations building a bacteria that will contaminate the population? Well, you say, "Oh, that's an exaggeration." Well,
No.
I'm not saying that. The guy who in the video is saying that, and that's what struck my mind. I said, "Well, how can it be seen like that?" Is the first time that I see someone saying that it's a corporate deliberate action to weaponize sugar, drugs, video games, porn, this and that. I say, wow, that's a word that I have heard, but I have not seen applied in this way. Uh, I obviously like your recipe. Your recipe is a recipe for the disease, for the problem. It's absolutely valuable, it's absolutely good, it's incredibly smart, but is the solution to the problem. But who is creating the problem? That's what I want to I don't want to pontificate, but I want to like put in question from the moral standpoint. Yes, that's what. So thanks for your comment, Miss. Let me listen to what Mickey says, and then we come back to the comment because it's really interesting. Mickey, what do you think?
Mm, well, I think that at the end we are controlled by the biggest corporations, the different governments, and obviously I think that we can uh, relation with the topic that we talked the last class about the censoration and to put if it's explicit content or not. because, well, at the end, all those content was created for a purpose, and the purpose is to, in a way, the government control us. Uh, I'm not gonna say that that the problem is the lack of education, because I know about different persons that are, I know that they are smart, but in one way or another they are like addicted on something, probably on stay on TikTok, on stay on Facebook, on stay looking videos on, and I think that the issue is that probably we need to divide the different contents, and probably it's not to avoid the problem, but to try to control in a way. Because if you put a lot of content to a person of 8 and 9 years old, well, then probably this person gonna be more, um, how can I say this? Be more easy to control, or instead a person who has now uh, more knowledge and more experience about different things. Mm, but another issue I think that is that uh, we consume so much content of different types of content. For example, this person mentioned pornography, and it's something bad because I know I have my TikTok app because I publish videos of sneakers and all that stuff. But there are a lot of videos of girls, and TikTok could use a person of 8, 6 years old, and they are looking to that content. And I think that is one of the biggest issues, because now they're being addicted to something, and a part of that is not their age, it's not their time,
Yeah,
if you want.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, totally agree. Thank you very much, Mick, for your comment. Mitch, what do you think? You were going to say something.
No,
No, okay. So
I'm agree.
you agree with Mickey and everything, right? I do too, and I think it's a very important and smart comment. So the issue is we seem to be defenseless, or at least kids or young people, and I don't know if youngsters too. Kids, youngsters, and even adults seem to be defenseless against these corporate, let's put it like corporate policies. And not because they are bad people, the people in the corporations, they want to make a profit, they work for something, right? So I'm not going to say that all the bimbo workers are bad people, or all the people that produce gancitos are deserve to go to hell. Of course not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's a corporate strategy to attract consumers. Is that ethically correct? Well, all of us want to create consumers. Uh, Mickey wants to create people who buy tennis shoes. Mitch, you want to create people who consume, who buy video games, art, educational work, art craft, many, many things. I want to create people who come to the school. So is it bad? I don't think it is bad. But what is it that we are creating? Is it deliberate? Is it so bad as it sounds in this video? And the question is, kids, youngsters, and even adults seem to be defenseless against these corporate policies of becoming addicted to something. Is that so? Is it true that we are defenseless? Uh, and is it the solution that you both say, which I like very much? But I want to ask the question: is it easy to say, "Well, just get educated"? That's simple. Well, the problem is
Mm.
that maybe it's not so simple. I mean, you guys, myself, my daughters, your parents, we all have a very nice, very good education. Thank God. We are lucky for that. But what about the rest of the people? Is it easy for the others to simply say, well, get educated? I don't know if that is easy. What do you think? Maybe yes, maybe not. Maybe I'm being very dramatic. What do you think?
Mm.
We are sighing. The three of us are sighing, right?
Yeah, because it's a good question. Um, well, probably will be harder to convince a person who is more prepared or more or who got a good education instead of a person who doesn't receive it. But at the end, those big corporations are big corporations for one reason, at least because they know how to attack the specific consumer or the specific public. So, for example, we know about cookies that you search something on the internet and then appears a lot of advertisements of the same thing. They put you like sales and they put you on other websites, and it's like, oh my god, we are not free to search something on internet without receive information about a specific product or whatever, you know. And it happens to me too that, for example, I was talking with my friends uh, about a car. I didn't remember what car it is, was it? But then I opened my cell phone and the first thing that appears on my Facebook was an advertisement of that car and was like,
That
oh
car.
my god.
Yes,
So
yes.
we are not free, and I think that the only way to be free is without use internet or without use computer, cell phone, and now is something impossible because everything is there.
You- well, okay. I think you're mentioning something incredibly interesting. Mitch, would you like to add something before I say something connected to what Mickey's saying? Do you think that we are free? Do you think that corporations are very skilled and they are prepared to do their task? Um, what would you like to say?
Well, I think now it depends of the corporation. For example, the creator of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, he wasn't planning, oh, I'm going to control the mind of the young ones, of the people in general. He started with his project of Facebook as something of as an school project or some stuff in his school, just like a game for like a date like a skilled woman stuff. But okay, he started to grow, he started to win money of that. But I think that become from that he wasn't in bad intentions. I think in this case it depends of the person if they go addicted or very attached to something. No, maybe there is someone, some corporation that okay, we're all we are going to control the minds of these people and anything. We are going to manipulate them, but I think it's not the purpose of everyone.
No, I agree. I agree. We cannot demonize corporations just because we watch a video. That's true. That's true. But on the other hand, what Mickey says is also true, and that has happened to me too. We talk about, let's say that one day we are chatting here, Mick, you and I, we're talking about agro-business. I'm gonna open my Yahoo account and I'm gonna see topics about an agribusiness course, an agribusiness this, an agribusiness that. Or we talk about civilization, and I'm going to talk the Greeks, the Romans. I say, how do they know that I'm talking about this? Or I put so what do I do now? Well, I use the right lead. What is that? I talk about Erfolg, which is in German success. What happens the next time I open my YouTube account? It talks about how to become successful, how to become smart, how to become wealthy, how to become a good person. You talk about good feelings. And now we talk about good feelings in this moment. Let's say that I talk about love, friendship, peace, generosity, this and that. Well, I'm sure that in the next 3 4 hours, maybe tonight, when I open my YouTube account, I'm gonna see how to have good feelings. Which are the good feelings? How do they do it? well, I wonder there is artificial intelligence that connects the words that you mentioned or the keywords, and they throw you lots of promotionals or propaganda or something connected to this. They do that automatically, of course. They have engines that search for keywords. And so, what is the solution, in my opinion? Of course, at least for this thing, use the right lead, right? If you talk about feelings, good feelings, well, they will share a good number of good feeling sites. You talk about success, you can put that in German, in Chinese, in French, in whatever, and it will give you the same results. So what do I do? Well, I try to feed internet with this type of words. I make a list of words that I like to hear. So make a list of words that I would love to hear. And voila, there it is. Right? What do you
Mhm.
think of this idea, Mickey, Mitch?
Merkel is a word I would love to
Yeah,
hear.
it's a good idea because probably it's almost impossible to avoid receive those kind of advertisements or news. But if we focus on good things, well, probably the things that we're gonna receive are things that are related to good things too. So it's like hack the system.
Exactly, exactly,
Uh,
right.
in conclusion, everything is about marketing.
Yeah, exactly, right. That's exactly right. So, what can we say about this? Well, you need to watch it when you have a couple of hours, extra hours to burn. Not all of it is extremely interesting as these 2 minutes. Actually, I'm only halfway. I just heard the first hour of this YouTube clip that my brother sent to me, but those 2 minutes are worth a lot. He also says something about socialism, communism, and capitalism. He's not a political person, but he says, I would be, he makes it before this moment, he says, I would like to be a communist, which I'm not a communist, but he says, a communist with my family, a socialist with my friends, and a capitalist with the rest of the people. He gives a good explanation for that. I don't necessarily agree with him. Probably I disagree because he uses a very different meaning of the words communist, socialist, and capitalist. Right? He says that he's a capitalist by his brain and a socialist by his heart. In other words, he likes to share things with the family and with friends, but he wouldn't do it with everyone because he says, invite all your friends and tell them, hey, here's my house, take what you want, and you will see your house empty the next hour, right? So the meaning of sharing is important in a social way. What do you think about this expression that this guy said a few minutes before what we heard, Mitch Mickey?
Um,
um, I don't know. I think that first of all we need to define what is communist, socialist, and capitalist because probably for me, communist is not the same than to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think that is necessary to first define what it is, each one.
Yeah,
What is the
exactly.
definition in few words?
Yeah, I fully agree, Mickey. Yeah, it's difficult to agree on something that is not fully or thoroughly defined as this word, and this word. What do you think, Mitch? Thank you, Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
mm, sorry, I'm not very into in this kind of subjects.
Well, what he means by that is that you want to share everything you have with your family, some of the things with certain trade offs with your friends, and with the rest of the people, you are very strict with money and time.
Mm.
So he
I
says,
agree.
When you live in the communes like Jesus Christ lived with the disciples, you would give the family everything they want. It's absolutely mutual. My house is your house, or my house is the house of my daughters or the house of my parents. I don't care if they take all the food or if they come without knocking the door and just stay in one of the rooms or whatever they want. My parents, my daughters, is open for them, right?
Yes.
That would be sharing everything. Socialist, that would be sharing something with the friends, not absolutely everything, but you give some of your things, you share them. uh, and a capitalist with the rest of the people. In other words, with the rest of the people, you try to gain something from them to make a profit. Whereas with your friends, you give and take. Maybe
Hmm.
your friends would come and you would tell them, well, I cook and you wash the dishes. You
Hmm.
share duties, right? And with the family, do whatever you want. More or less, that is the idea. Of course, like Mickey says, you need to define these words very precisely, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, that is basically the idea.
Well, yes. That's so. I think that's a lot of people live like that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. The only difference is that they don't ascribe these terms to the action. They don't say, I'm being a
Hmm.
communist, I'm being a socialist, or I'm being a capitalist. They don't say these words because they have
Nah, they don't care.
yeah, exactly,
Hey
exactly.
there.
Very nice. Okay, well, that was a very interesting topic. Let me go back to um, another topic. How would you summarize this conversation of Rivakar and Miki or Mitch? How would you summarize it, the book?
Hmm.
Educate yourself and be conscious of everything is marketing, and don't be addictive that easily, so easily.
Okay, I like that summary. Miki, what would you say?
Yeah, I will summarize this conversation, uh, telling that probably in the past they were governments who control people uh, until physically, but now they still control people, but now in like in a indirect way, because sometimes we don't notice and we still focus on our cell phone and we see it like normal, but at the end we are controlled. So it is necessary to keep in mind that everything that appears has a purpose and understand why it's there.
Okay, okay. Now, based on your question, Miki, I would like to ask if is it possible for normal citizens like Mitch, you and I, to find
Mhm.
out what the purpose of something is besides control? I mean, yeah, the government wants to control us, but why would they want that? Why would the government want to control us? For what purpose? For example, it's not the same that a country like Cuba tries to control their people when they are 12 million, that
Yeah.
Mexico that has 120 million, than the US that has 330 million, than China that
Mhm.
has 1,400 billion people. So why would you want to control people to begin with?
Mm, I don't know. Probably I would start telling different theories different how do you say comparison.
Comparisons, yes.
Mhm. And probably because no, it's my opinion, but I think that governments are better for them to control their people instead to have people who is more more active or who knows about their different rights or and who can defend themselves. I think that probably would be a reason.
Okay. Why don't we? Thank you, Mickey. That makes sense. But I would like to ask you first, Mitch. What do you think, Mickey? What do you think? What is the first duty? What is the first duty of a government? Let's talk about not rights but duties. What's their obligation? What are the duties or the first duty? You can Google the answer because, or you can think about what the duty of the government is. What do you think is the duty of a government? Because we talk about society, and the government is part of society.
Mhm. What is the first duty of a government?
Yeah, would it be
The protection of life.
the protection of life? Yeah, the first duty to protect your rights and their life, right?
Hmm.
So let's put that here. Can you read it, Mickey, please, or can you say that again? To protect the
Um,
citizens' lives and
lives.
rights.
Hmm.
Lives and rights.
There's a
The
quote who says the first duty of government is the protection of life, not its destruction.
protection of life, not its destruction. Okay. To protect. What do you think of that, Mitch Mickey? What do you think? Is it evident in every government, or is not so evident? Uh, it happens more or less moderately, clearly.
Something happens because, well, we know that sometimes governments use their power to control people instead of help their own citizens and their own cities, right?
Yeah, yeah. At times, I would say that normally they protect their citizens. I would say that they do it. Probably not very efficiently, not very intelligently. Probably they can do better job. I don't know if I would do the job better, but I'm pretty sure that I would. Any of us would do a better job. But uh, how do they protect the lives and the rights of the citizens? Obviously, they need to. Yes, Mitch.
What?
How does a
Oh,
government protect the citizens' lives and rights?
I don't know.
You don't know. They create jobs.
Oh, yes.
What else? They. Uh, what else?
Uh,
They give security.
They give security. Okay, they provide security. They provide security through what? Through an armed police force. Is that true?
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so they give security. They help with education, right? They
Mhm.
provide education. What else?
Uh, Libya's medic centers for health.
Exactly, medical center, health centers.
Mhm.
Yeah, health centers. They establish and maintain health centers. That's exactly right. Well, we already said they create jobs. What else they do?
Mm,
They foster economic growth.
yeah.
They stimulate economic growth and trade through, let's say through trade, right? Probably is through. I don't know if it's better to say through trade and construction. What else do they do? What else do you think they
Mm,
do?
give, I don't know, like scholarships, or
Yes,
they have social programs.
they establish, they
Yeah.
create social programs. Yeah, that's true. What else? That's very important.
Mm,
They create jobs. Let me add this, and business opportunities and business opportunities, right? Create social programs. They okay. They regulate society. They by giving norms of conduct, right?
Yeah.
By giving and enforcing rules of conduct. I don't know if you agree with that. What else? What else? Well, there are many duties. They generate recreational centers for people to enjoy leisure and develop their culture and traditions. I don't know if the word is generate. There must be another word. I don't like generate so much. What else can we use instead of generate? They create,
Right.
create, okay, create recreational centers for people to enjoy, to have leisure, to have leisure and develop their culture and traditions, like
Hmm.
museums, recreational centers. What else, Mickey, Mitch?
Parks,
Parks,
malls.
malls, yes. Um, build malls and parks for people to what? For what purpose? Socialize,
Hmm.
movie theaters, malls, cinemas, and parks for people to socialize and cultivate their interactions. Well, there are really many activities that the government does, and of course, some of them they do really well, some others moderately well, some of them really bad, like
Mhm.
you already know, right?
Yeah.
Well, how can we close this conversation? It was a bit intense at times, but at the end, I think, well, here we live. We need to love what we have and help make it better, right? So, how can we close today's conversation, Mitch, Mickey?
Um, well, I will say that it's necessary to know about different things, to learn about different topics
Inform us.
and to be aware of the things that are happening. Sometimes, for example, we are so focused on social media on content in internet that we don't focus on things that are happening in that exactly moment. So I think that it's necessary to keep a balance and yeah, and be aware that there are so many things to see, to do, and not only stay in ourselves on the internet.
Yeah, well, that's a great conclusion. Thank you, Mickey. Thanks, Mitch. What would you
Yes.
like to add to close the chat for
Uh,
today, please?
I think everyone must care to always improve as a person, not stay in their zone of comfort, because what is the purpose of your life if you don't want to become a better person, a better version of you? Uh, don't be pausing in the nothing. Inform yourself. Don't be attached. Don't let you manipulate with all the things with the other groups of people that okay, everyone want to control the world in some way. Not forcefully is that something bad, but mm, well, we have to pay attention to our life, to on our life.
Okay. Very good. Well, I really, really appreciate every lesson, every practice, every session is really good. Today's comments were really outstanding in my mind. Not only today's, but today's for some reason I feel very not intrigued. I feel very satisfied, very satisfied of the quality of the conversation that we normally have on today's, of course. I feel compelled to share this with my advanced students in the school. Is it okay for you guys
Yeah.
if I share
Yes,
today's
sure.
conversation with my friends? They are
Of
also
course.
bright people and they can find a lot of nutrition from these topics.
Hmm.
And is it okay? I won't do this regularly, but occasionally, if it's okay with you guys, I would like to share this with the advanced students of the school. Would you be okay
Yes,
with that?
it is
Yes.
perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, thank you as usual, Mitch, Mickey, enjoy. And I guess we meet again when Friday, right? At 4.
Friday. Yes, teacher.
Okay. Well, you guys enjoy. Mitch,
You
Mickey,
too, teacher. Take
have a
care.
nice time. Have a nice day. See you Friday then. Take care and thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
teacher. You
teacher. Have
too.
a great
Take
day.
care.
You too. Bye bye. Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye bye.
Thank you.